If you want to be an AI consultant, here's a good case study. I just read this case study from Business Insider about this 25-year-old who is making about 25 grand a month. He says that the demand for AI projects jumped exponentially after the release of ChatGPT, which makes sense because all of a sudden it's in the public eye and CEOs and leaders are seeing what AI can do and they're excited about using it. He then identifies 3 different phases for deploying a project. First up, and most sensibly, he actually looks at the workflow of the client. Too many clients that I talk to just say, give us some AI, like it's some kind of magic genie in a bottle. In reality, you need to look at what the business is actually doing and what can be optimized using AI. This means understanding the business, its processes, and the workflow. It's boring work, you have to sit down and sketch it all out, but it's important. The second stage is building a piece of software that can integrate into those workflows in order to make certain parts faster and more efficient. Again, it's not just deploying AI for the sake of it, but for specific processes. And then the third phase he goes through in his company is looking back at the project and reflecting on how what they've just learned, what they've just built can be applied to other companies. Each time you run a project and it goes well, you can then go and find another 10 companies you can do the exact same work for in order to increase your profits. He's also saying that the major challenge he has is managing expectations. This is something I also find when I talk to clients. Lots of people expect AI to be magical. And unfortunately, this leads to problems where they start to use an AI comes up with hallucinations and biases or just making up information. And suddenly the client is like, well, AI is rubbish. It's all a fad. It's not going to help us in any way. In reality, we need to know what AI can do and what AI can't do, and then we need to manage our projects around that. In the article, he talks about a client who basically wanted a version of Scarlett Johansson from Her, as well as one client who wanted to replace his entire human workforce. Bringing client expectations in line with the reality of what AI can do is so important so that you don't end up having uncomfortable conversations when you have to explain that AI can't do these things yet. The truth of the matter, though, is that companies are looking for AI consultants. They need to get on board with this technology or they risk being left behind. Now, as an AI expert, you could just cold DM people and try and sell them AI services. I personally use education, so this is why I have a large TikTok channel and LinkedIn. By talking about AI topics, I managed to attract companies to me, so I don't need to go out to them, and they ask me to come in and do work for them. So we call this inbound marketing rather than outbound marketing. And the specific mechanism I use in order to open up client work is using workshops. The first thing I always sell to a company is a workshop. They generally cost about $1,000 per hour up to $4,000 per hour, depending on how many people are at the workshop. So I make money at the same time. But the purpose of these is to open up communications, to go and provide education and value to the client, and therefore become their go-to when it comes to consultation and implementation work. Workshops are also really good at setting expectations with both the leadership and the staff about what AI can and can't do. If you're interested in licensing my workshop material, I'm running a cohort starting on August the 5th. There's a link in my bio. Deadline for early bird is this Friday.